This week we'll be talking to Adrenilin about their upcoming competition, Coastal 4x4 Rocks the Paddock.
Grizz is talking to Jason Galea about off-road racing.
We'll also be crossing to Going 4-Wheel Drive to check out what they're up to.
You're watching 4x4 WA. Welcome to 4x4 WA. Amy, what's on this week?
Well, this week we have lots of exciting things to see and do, so let's get started.
Well, first up, guys, myself and Rev went down to Pingelly. What did we do down there, mate?
Well, we caught up with the Adrenilin team and checked out what's happening with Coastal Rocks the Paddock.
Let's go have a look.
We're here with Jason, the event organiser. So what's in store for this year?
Hopefully a lot more action than last year. Should be looking at a field of 50 cars. Tracks will be harder than before, mud run will be larger, a few more regulations, compulsory cages so the guys can go a bit harder, make it safer for everyone. Same amount of stages, but just a lot harder.
Yeah, cool.
Awesome.
Alright, so last year it was called Mud Guts and Glory. Why had the name changed? What is it now?
Now it's called Coastal 4x4 Rocks the Paddock. Reason for the change is the original Mud Guts and Glory was based around a mud event. Then it was changed to this venue and it was called Mud Guts and Glory Rocks because of the addition of the rocks. Primarily most of the guys prefer to be running on rocks than mud, so it's gone a lot of rock this year. The venue it's held at now is called the Paddock, and Coastal 4x4 is the main sponsor, so that's pretty much the name change to help both of those guys out and advertise the fact that it is really heading towards a hardcore rock comp. More than playing in the mud.
Oh, okay. Cool. Okay, so last year, is there the same amount of tracks or?
Yeah,
so we know
10 stages.
Cool, so we know it's a lot harder, but are there any other changes?
Yeah, a few of the tracks will be reversed. The mud run's going to be longer, cool. With a few more obstacles thrown in to give it more than just horsepower. You still got to have the ability that the buggies have. Yeah. So yeah, just
awesome.
A lot harder.
Yep, and how many competitors did you say?
They're hoping for a field of around 50 cars.
Okay.
Cool.
Is that more than last year?
Last year we had started with 55. A few guys couldn't get their cars ready for the day.
Yep.
So we dropped down to around the 50 mark, so we're hoping for around about the same.
Oh.
Now Grizz is going to go and check out some of the tracks for this year.
Let's go take a look.
Okay, Jay, stage one. A lot of carnage happened here last year. Yep. What's going to be different about this one?
The start is different. Last year we had an open face on that side to start with the vertical climb. This year make it a little bit different. We're moving it over a tad. Start this side of, well, that side of the tree. We've got to go over those few boulders there,
yep.
And up that gully.
Through the gully up there, yep.
Through the gully, over the rocks at the back, and there's a drop off of about maybe 5 foot on the other side.
Oy.
They go into that gully, do a hard right hand turn, and where they drove up last year is where they're coming down.
Okay, so anywhere around that stump there.
That stump and that bank of rocks.
Yep.
Then once they come down, they have to do virtually a hairpin, and where they drove down the bum crack last year, now they're driving back up the bum crack.
Okay, up through that gap there.
That gully. They get up to the top, they turn around a rock up there.
Yep.
They come back down, and instead of exiting where they were coming out last year, they have to do a hard left-hand turn on the way back down and drive along the crack and then out this side trail here.
Oy.
There's some big angles in there.
See, some of these guys say they're going to go, why did we say make it harder for us?
This year they start down the bottom here, they drive up, they have to drive up what was the drop off last year. They circle around the back, the next two drop offs which are in there, they drive down, and instead of exiting out over there, they now have to come out with a hard left-hander and over
through these
boulders,
rocks. Yep.
And then out through the bottom here, and then that'll be this stage. So this one's been reversed completely around. So it should make it a lot harder. A lot of the guys made the comments that they would like to have driven up that rather than dropped off it.
Yeah.
So that's what we've given.
So this year they are.
Pretty much, yeah. Just listening to what the guys want, what they think would make a good track, and give it to them.
That's the whole art of it, isn't it? You know, you get the feedback from it, and then they say blah blah blah, and you say, well, yeah, that's viable. We do it that way.
Yeah, it's a happy medium between sort of not making it too hard that it's not drivable for the smaller guy.
Yeah.
and the bigger guy can still have some fun. Now it's pretty much got to the point where unless your rig's really capable, you're going to have to put, you know, a lot of effort into getting it. You can still build them on a budget. I mean, Locked Up, he still runs a Leafy Lux, and he still does really well. And he likes his old school ideas. He may well have to change that in the future to keep up with the guys running the coilovers and all that sort of thing. But for the moment, he's happy. But yeah, I guess we'll see come comp day what he turns up with. You really don't know until scrutineering what the level is. You say that everyone says step it up a notch, but you don't really know if you've gone too far until you see the cars at scrutineering. Last year was a real sort of gamble and learning curve, as we didn't sort of know what the cars were going to drive everything like, and what we thought was going to be virtually impossible was, a lot of guys actually drove it quite well.
So with your scrutineering, you're going to have your scrutineering like a month or so before the actual comp?
Yeah, it's about 6 weeks before, I think.
That gives them a time to
gives them a chance.
Fix it
anything that's not quite right, they can fix. Any of the cages that aren't up to scratch, they can sort of any questions they got. A lot of the guys have been good. It's a simple phone call or an email to just ask the query, to give them some time to make sure they get it right. And a lot of guys have done that, and sort of, a couple of cars have been out and had a look, because they're new, being built, seen last year, but they want to run this year. So they know the rules, they know the regs, so, and away they go. And that's pretty much, I mean, a lot of guys see it from the sidelines and think, yeah, that's mint to watch, but there's no way I'm going to drive it. And a lot of guys see it and they think, that's mint, you know, I want to get a part of it, and they start building their cars. So that's
it. Okay. Well, let's have a look at the last track, and then we go from there. Okay, so this is the last one. What's different about this one?
Not a lot. Basically just narrowed up the entry, so instead of being able to go along the face, they have to actually climb straight up the face. The majority of it is pretty much the same as last year, bar the exit. Instead of going around the drop-off, they now have to actually go down the drop-off. Other than that, this one's kept fairly similar for the guys that haven't sort of developed the long way. Still got some sort of stages they can have a good crack at and have fun on.
So yeah, it looks like you've put a lot of work into it this year. You've changed little bits and pieces around, and you've got to be impressed with what you've done, what you've achieved. Yeah,
I mean, it's always good to see it sort of come develop when you get here and all the trees are laying down and that sort of stuff, and put a few weekends into cleaning it, and you see the track sort of start to take shape again. And the best thing really is come comp day, when you got everything set up, all the competitors here, you talk to the competitors, they're all having a ball.
They've got big smiles on their faces.
They can't get enough of it, and that's really when you see that the work has sort of paid off.
Now, speaking about competitors, you've got a very special entrant this year. Tell us about that.
Have a paraplegic entering this year. Sent the inquiry through. Guy that we know, Hillbilly on the forums. More or less wanted to get behind the wheel. He does four-wheel driving as it is, so he just wanted to sort of get more involved in it, and can't really see any issues with it. So yeah, I mean, the comp is out there for everyone, so don't see any reason why he can't have a crack at it. He's more than keen. We're more than keen to have him.
Good on you.
Yeah, it's about everyone sort of having fun. So
well, that's what it's about, isn't it? It's for everybody to have fun in. So anyway, that's it from us here, guys. But if you guys want any more information about how to enter and where it is and what's happening and what time it is, go to our website at 4x4wa.com.au, click on the link Adrenilin 4x4, and it will tell you all the information. Okay, well, cheers for that, mate.
No worries.
Very much appreciated, and we look forward to seeing you in September.
Yeah, we'll be here.
Well, that looks like it's going to be an exciting competition this year. Next up, Grizz goes to have a chat with Jason Galea about off-road racing.
Cheers for that, Amy. Well, I'm here with Jason from Flat Out Off-Road Racing, and he's going to tell us a bit about his car and some WA Off-Road Racing Championship. Welcome along, Jason.
Thanks to be here.
Right, your car, it's a Nissan, I take it?
Yeah, GQ Nissan Patrol 92. It's basically stock standard, because that's the production four-wheel drive class.
Yep. And what type of racing is it? I mean, like, everyone talks about off-road racing, you see the images of the little buggies and, you know, the ones which look like little spiders and stuff, but this obviously isn't one of them.
Yeah, well, we race with those, but this is a speed event, so you got to try and keep your speed up, and then you've got the little rough stuff as well.
Yep.
It's a lot different to conventional four-wheel driving with winch comps and rock walls and all that sort of thing. You don't usually get that. It's pretty much fast
Just
racing.
Flat out racing, as the name says.
Yeah.
So, okay, you got a Nissan here. What have you done to it? You said it's pretty stock standard, but you've got to have done something to race.
Yeah. Well, the first thing you got to do is you got to put a roll cage into the car.
Right.
So we got an FJG Engineering roll cage kit and put that in the car. We've braced the suspension, the diff, and that's basically all you need to do. We've got raw shocks on board. We go and source our tyres from Ian Diff and Tyre Factory Joondalup, and that's really all we've done to it. There's not too much more. To get a little bit more power, we put a 350 Holy Carby on it, and that's about it really.
Okay, and how long have you been racing for?
I'm into my third season now. I raced a full season last year, and then the year before that I only raced the one race.
Okay.
We've been, as a team, we've been racing for a fair bit longer than that, with Dad's been racing his 80 series for a couple of years now.
Right, now how have you placed?
Basically every event that I've finished, I've placed in the top 3 in my class. Last season I won the Production 4 Drive State Championship, and that was a very good result for us. This year we're sitting, I think, about 2nd or 3rd on points coming into Bencoven, so shaping up as good year.
Good. Okay, do you mind if we have a bit of a look around your car and you can point some things out for us? What needs to happen to a car to go off-road racing?
Yep, no worries.
Okay, so I take it first up. We'll look at your bonnet. You got your bonnet locks.
Yeah, we got bonnet pins on these cars. Well, actually, we didn't earlier in the season, and the bonnet popped open at about 80 k's an hour, and that's why we've got a couple of dents on the bonnet.
All right, which wouldn't be good.
Yep, that's not good. So now we're running the bonnet pins, which most other 4 drives and tin tops are running.
Yeah. So you take off a lot of the cosmetics from the outside, like you don't have your big mirrors on it and stuff like that. You've all made everything sort of aerodynamic.
Yeah, these mirrors that we've got mainly are because you run so close to trees. If you knock them off quite a lot, and when we're running laps, you don't want one of those big buggies coming up behind you and you don't see them, because they'll come and pass you like in a flash and you don't even know they're there. Right.
And what about your seats? You got racing seats in there?
Yeah, we've got SAS racing seats, and obviously you also need your harness. We've got a 5-point harness. There's a couple of different harnesses that you can run. You also need to run either wrist restraints or window nets. We run wrist restraints in this car. A lot of other people run window nets, but I mean, it's a preference thing.
What are wrist restraints? What do they do?
I've got some wrist restraints in the car.
Yep.
Basically, the wrist restraint here clips onto your harness. You put it onto there, and then it restricts your arm from moving out the window in the event of a rollover. And that's the same sort of thing that if you had a window net, you wouldn't be able to get your hands out of the window. So that's the main idea of a wrist restraint. And
how does that affect your driving?
Well, you actually need to set these up specifically. Like the Navigator has their set, and I have my one. And it's I put mine at a certain length, so my hand can't get out the window, but I still have full range over the wheel. You only need to wear the outside one, because that's the one that's only going to go out the window.
Right, okay, well let's have a look at the back. Right, you've got a pretty basic back here.
Yep.
You've got your spare tyre in there, it's strapped in, and it's also, I take it, it's got a little...
Yeah, we've just got a locating device and a strap to hold our spare tyres down. A lot of people use different systems to do that. This is just a really easy way. If you have a flat, ratchet off, take the tyre off, and then away you go.
Yep.
Another thing they might notice is we have a amber light and a brake light on the back of the car.
Right.
That's to see in the dust. The dust light is the amber light, that's on all the time.
Yep.
And the brake light as well, because when in a dusty situation you probably see that better than the rest of the lights.
And your battery's in the back, it's not under the bonnet?
Yep, we've moved the battery to the back of the car just as get it out of the way of the engine bay. It's a little bit better for your weight as well, if you have more weight towards the rear, especially with a ute.
Right, well there we go. Well, this is now... Tell us about the Off-Road Racing Championships. How many races do they have a year?
Well, I think there's about 5 rounds for the state championship. The first one this year was at Yellering. Then we raced Hyden. Next race coming up in a week's time is Bencoven. Then you have Magumba and Hyden again. And that's your state championship. There's also a couple of other rounds, like we raced Warrimal as well, just after Hyden. That's a non-state round that the Gascoyne Off-Road Club put on, and that was up near Carnarvon. There's also the Gascoyne Dash, which is a really popular event, especially with the 4-wheel drives.
You going into that one?
Well, we will be racing that one definitely with the 80 series, depending on how we go with this car. I don't know. We'll see how we go.
We'll see how we go. Yep. So you got, what was it? It was 5 races all up?
5 state championship
5 state
rounds.
champion. Now, can you get people from over east coming into one of these races?
At Hyden at Easter, we have a lot of eastern state competitors come over. We have the Chapmans came over from Queensland and race. They have a Triton and a Pajero, and they race in both extreme and production four-wheel drive.
Right.
Obviously, Colin Hunter, he's got a Jeep. He comes over and races, as well as I think sort of about 30 or 40 other competitors from the eastern states come to Hyden.
No, okay, so Hyden's a big one.
Yeah, Hyden at Easter is the national round, the first national round.
Right.
It doubles as a state championship round, and yeah, that's quite popular, that one.
There we go. That's off-road racing. Well, thank you very much for that, Jason.
Thank you.
Very much appreciated. And we'll be back shortly.
Welcome back to 4x4 WA. What's up next, Chloe?
Well, next up, going four-wheel drive, check out a track called Boghole Mania. So let's go take a look.
Brian, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
What is this track all about, please?
This one's a pretty severe boghole track. It's about 1.7 kilometres in length. It'd have about 15 or so bog holes, about a metre and a half deep.
And is there water in these bog holes, or mud, or a combination of both?
Oh, it's a combination of both. A fair bit of water.
Right, and you've obviously walked the track recently?
Yeah, I've walked it. There'll be a fair bit of winching today, I would say. But yeah, I mean, it's going to take a while, for sure.
Right, and we've got one of the vehicles here, the burnt orange FJ40 of Chris. He's going to be joining us today. And we've got total 10 vehicles.
Yeah, that's right. We started off with 11. One's dropped off already due to head gasket problems, but I'm sure they'll come along and watch anyway. We'll see how many make it through.
I heard a rumour that was a Zook that dropped out.
Oh, yeah, it was. It just had its engine rebuilt as well.
Oh, right. Does that say a lot for the mechanic?
Oh, I think it says something about the driver pushing it too hard, I reckon.
Well, you know him better than I do. All right, and now this track is obviously going to be taking a few hours. Will it take, say, 3 or 4 hours, or 10 hours, or what?
Look, I want to get through it in 3, but chances are it'll probably take about 8.
8 hours?
I think so.
To my lovely dear wife at home, who's waiting for me, sorry, love, might be late. All right, Brian, well, thanks very much for coming on the show, and thanks for taking us out today. We really appreciate it.
No worries.
And we're really looking forward to a great day of four-wheel driving, extreme hardcore.
Oh, it certainly will be.
There's a total of 10 trucks in the convoy today, and some of these bog holes, well, they're more like puddles to start off with. It's going to be interesting to see if any of the vehicles turn around and go back or break down. We have a good mixture of vehicles today, ranging from 80 series cruisers, 100 series, a Hilux with a Bandera front end in it. It looks great, that does. And also Range Rovers, 2 of. It's going to be interesting to see which way they go, either through the bog holes or they turn around or break down. I reckon they'll break down, being British. This is a nicely prepared Hilux, complete with Bandera front end with coil springs. Very nice unit. The convoy's reached its first obstacle. That's a pair of bog holes with an island in the middle. The lead vehicle of the convoy has got himself stuck in this hole and will be snatched out. Meanwhile, our trip leader is having a go at the other bog hole on the other side of the island. Brian, our trip leader, wasn't able to winch himself out of the bog hole, so he decided to reverse back out of it. Meanwhile, the GU Trey, he's having a crack at it, and I reckon he's going to end up winching through. Our lead vehicle has had a second go at this bog hole on the right hand side and came stuck again. Now he's winching out. The GU, mind you, he's had 2 cracks at it, unsuccessful. Instead of winching up and out, he's reversing out of the bog hole as well. The 100 series has had a few goes at getting out of the bog hole by himself, and has had to winch as a last resort. But as you can see, he's about to lift the wheel and just about to collect the tree as well, putting a little dent in his rear door.
Slide it, left hand down, mate. It's the only way he's going to get out of there, so. Oh, maybe not.
All we can say is one Rangy towing another one, and an 80 series. We're the only vehicles to finish this track under their own steam. Well done, boys. Great trip.
Next up is our weekly rig review.
Sounds good, Amy, so let's go check it out.
Yes, we have another rig review, but today we've got a very special guest, and that is Liam and his fantastic looking HJ60. Welcome along, Liam. Yeah, thanks for having me, mate. So tell me, Liam, spotlights, mate. You've got heaps of spotlights. What's with the spotlights? Yeah, spotlights. Well, as you can see, mate, I love me spotlights. I like to see where I'm going at night. I've got 4 big big Taurus bull lamps up the top there, and 2 light force. None of them are HID, but my headlights are HID. But yeah, I just like to see where I'm going at night. And yeah, as you can see, they make the car look tough. But anyway, what else would you like to know? So what other modifications have you done to this beast? Well, I have the old 2H strong as a bullet workhorse motor in there, but what I've done is I've put a turbo on it. It's an aftermarket turbo, and that was done by United Fuel, and heaps more power now. At the back, I've got some storage boxes, and they're all homemade. I've got a cargo barrier, I've got a little sports steering wheel, I've got dual battery system in there, I've got all little bits and pieces which I really forget that I've got in there, but no, it's a good little bus. I've done a bit of damage to it this weekend, and yeah, so it's back to the garage, I think, and fixing it. And yeah, basically under the bonnet though is all new and stuff, so I spent a bit of money on it, and it's a trusty old girl, but yeah, it's my baby. Well, thanks for that, Liam. It is definitely a unique vehicle. Yeah, not a problem, mate. So anyway, that's our rig review for this week. Back to you guys.
Well, that was a very interesting review there, Rig.
Rig? You're calling me Rig? But that's fine. It was a great car. There.
It was until the head gasket blew.
Yes, it was. But anyway, guys, he's annoying me. Let's go to the end of the show. But we have to say goodbye. But first up, what's up next week?
We're actually keeping this?
Yes.
No.
What's up next week?
We're going camping in 2J.
We're going camping in 2J. And then what?
Camping in 2J.
Four-wheel drive review.
And?
Rig review and how-to segment.
There we go. And we have a product review. So that's it.
See ya.
We will end the show, but don't forget 4:30 West TV channel
44.
44, you remembered? Oh, well done. Okay, that's it for us, guys.
At 4:30.
At 4:30. See you next week.
See ya.